Alright, episode 5 now, I think. Took a break, had a bowl of cereal, checked my mail, and what was I doing? Oh yes, longbow. What's so... For me it was 20 minutes ago, but I guess for you, it was the last episode I was talking about, technology and bringing up a kid in this day and age type of things. I like the idea of kind of dumping my thoughts on otherwise, talked about topics. But I don't really know what's like a hot thing right now. Whoa. Alright, my game needs to stop chugging so much. Like, nothing else is running on my computer, so I don't know what is going on. Hey. Yeah, last time I actually had something to start with. I was talking about, like, ethnicity and stuff. But, actually kind of drawing a blank right now. Just kind of thinking about, I don't know, the rest of the day. This is just kind of like my project for today. And when I say for today, I mean, like, until my fiance gets home from work. There we go. Because then we'll be, heading out. Like, alright, we're going to Burgatory for dinner, but the area that it's in is actually an area that has a lot of stuff to see. It's a big shopping, like outdoor shopping center type thing. I guess if you're already in Pittsburgh, you're probably familiar with the waterfront. We like it because if we go to Burgatory and they tell us, oh, you'll have to wait like an hour, which has happened before. The waterfront has places to see, like there's there's a Barnes and Noble and stuff like that. Hey, there we go. And it's a gorgeous area too. And from what we had seen, it looked like the weather's actually going to be quite nice today, so it'll be nice to just walk around. I don't think there's anything terribly important down this way. There's an easier way to get to what I want to get over here, but I might as well utilize this while it's here. Normally I approach this area from the other direction. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh. Yeah, the waterfront. Yeah, it's just, my head's kind of there right now. Just kind of thinking about, what I want to check out, where we're going to go. Barnes & Noble is one of those places that, more than anything, I like to window shop. I feel bad for saying it, but I don't usually go to a lot of stores to actually buy anything. I usually go to some places just to check it out. I don't know what my current weight threshold is. That's why I want to boost up my endurance, so I can actually wear more stuff. Yeah, I don't actually know. My head's just sort of not really in the talking about stuff place right now. Let's see if I can do this without dying. Nice. So far, so good. That's close. Now let's see if I can get back down alive. I just could make this easier, but yeah, I might as well just take the easy way out. There's a trick where I can roll off and then dodge around them, but I've had that not work for me so many times. Oh yeah. Get rid of you. For You. I guess I'll only use you when I need it. Is that too heavy? Oh, wow, it is. That's okay, I got the pants that I want. And, oh, no, they're actually heavier. I thought they were going to be lighter. There, I'll take my gauntlets off. How do these compare? Yeah, everything else is too heavy. That's okay. I don't know, was it better with the mask? How heavy is that? Oh, it's exactly at the weight threshold. Well, I have super duper stamina regen. I feel like I had something in mind that I wanted to talk about, but I just can't recall right now. After getting up and getting a bowl of cereal and everything, and just my brain is just totally wiped. I'm trying to think of also what people might like to hear my opinions on. I mean, of course I generally assume no one wants to hear what I'm thinking about, but now people have told me they're actually interested to hear my opinions on certain things, so take it easy. Oh, too soon. Wow, and I survived somehow. Yeah, check another one. Yeah. You wanna try that again? Come on. There we go. Perfect. Oh. There we go. Bye. Ow. What? Oh, that's right, they have a pretty large arc. There we go. I mean, I guess I could talk about politics. The thing is, I'm pretty not up to date on things going on. All I know is that there's a lot of stuff going on, both locally and, you know, nationally and internationally. You know, the economy's in the pooper at the moment because, you know, the stocks and, you know, a lot of it apparently is China, from what I hear. A lot of bad investments that they've made, not really paying off. Ow. I thought I was going to take more damage. There we go. Thanks. Need to be careful here. I'll wait for this guy to show up. Yeah, so politics is not really something I can talk about too much. Not because I don't want to, I mean... From what I understand, most people don't like to talk about politics. I can't. I don't want to talk about something I feel like I don't have a lot of stuff on. I just don't feel like I have enough to talk about on politics. There we go. Come on. Well, I guess one fun topic is, I know people touch on this occasionally, although I don't think I'd have anything particularly meaningful to say, is like, with respects to would I have any advice for, you know, kids in this day and age, you know, what would I tell myself at their age? if I could tell myself anything, advice for the future. But to be completely honest, I don't know. I mean, I've said before that I feel like I can't relate a lot of my life experience to people around me, because I didn't go through a lot of their hardships. But I don't think... Like, alright, so my problem with that is that, you know, I didn't get to, you know, learn as much as I would have liked. What the... I never even knew you can go up here. This is crazy. You could probably fall and die, though. Oh, wow, I could probably get him. That's crazy. Oh. I'll try again. Oh. How did I even get up there? It's crazy. So as much as I don't like the fact that I feel like I don't have a lot of practical knowledge, in a way that a lot of other people would, because of, you know, the things they've had to go through. I feel like I don't regret not having it where I currently am, because even though I feel like I may have learned a lot of things later than a lot of other people, I'm still entirely happy with how I've come into the things that I do know. There we go. Alright, I got it. Yay. Like... Yeah, unfortunately I really wouldn't have any advice for myself. Basically it's just... You might feel like you don't have everything that you need to know to proceed, but you will learn in time, and it may feel like you learn it too late, but you'll end up in a place where you'll be glad you didn't rush it when you were given the opportunity to, you know, take a shortcut, so to speak. The shortcut being like, if I were to give you advice now. I feel like maybe my general advice for, you know, kids in this generation is to pace yourself. Both information and opportunities are available to people sooner in life, I think, than ever before. They can acquire knowledge, they can get their name out there, and now with the ability to be a content creator, you know, your work can be public, and you can be, you know, famous sooner. I always use that tree as a shield. So yeah, pacing, don't rush anything, and as much as it's going to be impossible, the cliche thing of, you know, trying not to take anything too seriously, they won't listen to that. That's not... It almost sounds ridiculous, because when you're that age, everything is serious. Everything means so much. So what I would try and tell them to help maybe get it into perspective is, you'll feel like a jar that you fill up. What you're filling it with, it would be like experiences, and let's say each experience is like a ping pong ball. Not all experiences are equal. Some of those ping pong balls will be bigger than others, so they'll fill up the jar a little bit more. And every so often you're going to feel like your jar is full and you just can't handle stuff anymore.
Is it not so that thou art new?
Yeah. I'm just going to join their covenant for whatever.
Well,
Yeah, go for it. I'd rather them be my friends than my enemies.
And he... If thou... But...
Yes. And when your jar fills up and you feel like you're at your limit, it's going to feel like the world is so much smaller. The world is that jar. You're going to feel like nothing can be worse, nothing can be better than what is happening in that moment when your jar is full. But I assure you that at each opportunity that your jar is full, it will get bigger. Your jar will feel like it can't expand to adapt to being full, but it always will. So when you feel like you can't take how serious and how heavy something might be at that point in your life, and that happens, it will. It happens to everybody in different ways and at different times. Just make room for it. That's all you have to do. And that might seem too ambiguous, but the thing is, everyone's jar expands in different ways too. Now, it's not just saying just deal with it, or not that I'm telling you how to make the most of all your experiences, but that's the trick of it. To turn those ping pong balls and various sized jars into something meaningful to you. But that's how you deal with heavy stuff in life, is you make room for it. You get a bigger jar. Now, my problem is, as much as it sounds like I basically just said nothing, that's just the issue with trying to relate important issues to someone whose perception of the world is so narrow, and everything is so important. No matter how you analogize the world and its problems, everything that happens to them is going to be so much bigger than anything you can tell them. Do I want to fight Sif now? I really don't, actually. I'll come back and handle this later. And I think that was my problem too. You know, I had a couple of issues, throughout school. I tried to talk to my folks about things that would come up, and looking back on it, they really didn't have anything of substance to tell me. It was literally just, the most they could do was just to hear me talk and bounce it back to me in a positive way. Because I think they at least realized that there was nothing constructive that could be done with it. It's not that I was damaged, so to speak, from my experiences. It's just that when I was holding on to something that was particularly heavy, and I didn't think I could hold it anymore, the best thing that they could tell me was not to just drop it. Like, I couldn't just drop it. You don't just drop experience, you know? You carry it with you. So either you let it weigh you down because it's heavy, or you just make room for it so that you can move forward. Now, some of the best ways that I've found to make room for big things is not the healthiest. I wouldn't recommend it, but it works for me. And it's basically just to find something else to focus on. And the reason I don't recommend it is because it could be an easy out, and I feel like doing that robs you, or robs myself, I guess, of the opportunity to really take everything that I can out of that negative experience. So, my trick that I've learned professionally is you turn all negative experiences into a learning experience. It was negative because, what could be done to prevent this? So forth. The same thing with life. You deal with something big, you can't always learn from something big and heavy. Specifically, because you can't always prevent something. But, you can teach yourself how to deal with it. And the trick there is just knowing yourself. Figure out why something meant so much. Why is it heavy? I don't think anything is objectively heavy. I feel like things will impact you in a heavy and big way because you let them, you know? Something is only going to hurt you as much as you let it, at least in a non-physical way. So, it takes a lot of knowing yourself, and that's, I guess, where the trick of being a teenager is trying to figure out who you are. And some might say, and I guess I can agree with them at some point, of you can't know yourself until you take a beating or two, you know, personally. I don't entirely follow that, but I don't entirely disagree with it either. Because I totally get it. I feel like I should buy some arrows. I feel like I should try and move away a little bit from the philosophical discussion and try and bring this down a little bit. Not that it's bad, but... Uh-oh. Alright, I'm getting a call here. Quick break so I can take a phone call. Okay, I'm back from the phone call. Alright. Nothing super serious. Where was I? I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, I wanted to kind of change the subject. More because I feel like that's another one of those topics I feel like I can just ramble on about and not actually say anything significant, so I don't think anybody wants to hear me do that. Even if that's what I've been doing this whole time. Something else to talk about. Oh, whoops, that was actually a mistake. Oopsies. Oh. Sorry, buddy. Well, here. Oh, there we go. How about... I guess some people might consider this a sensitive topic, but for me I don't consider it sensitive because it's not a particularly well developed topic for me. The unknown, now that I'm fighting ghosts. Like, I don't think I believe in ghosts, per se. I don't know if I believe in, like, spirits, or souls, or things like that. I feel like a concept of a god is very subjective. Like, I feel like in its truest form, if you're not following a specific doctrine that tells you what God is, God, the concept of God, in a more free-form sense, is basically a placeholder, something to anchor you to the rest of the world in the universe. Because the universe is a huge, impossible to understand from our own perspective type of thing. Ow. Oh boy, this is bad. No thanks. No hugs. And so for me, that whole, like, metaphysical thing it's really just kind of an underdeveloped thing. I don't know. I don't know how I feel. So, you know, then that leads to people saying, like, oh, so you're agnostic? And my feeling about that is, even when you say agnostic, that means that it's something that is categorized. And for me, I feel like I can't categorize how I feel about it. You know, my feeling on faith is literally, I haven't thought about it much, you know, what it means to me. You know, I've had other things going on. You know, introspective type things. I feel like something like faith is more, you can establish a better sense of it when you have a better sense of community, and I've just never really had that. You know, because it's through your community that you become connected to, you know, the world and the universe, so to speak. And in order to really fathom how all that connects, something like faith and God is extremely convenient. And, you know, my sociological way of thinking is also that, you know, faith in God is very useful for creating stable social orders, like taxes, something to help, you know, unite people and bind them together. A common thing that they can all follow. I guess taxes is probably an unfair example, but you can get what I mean. Oh boy. No. I gotta get through it pretty fast. And so yeah, because, you know, of my introvertedness and, you know, my closest connections are, you know, my coworkers, my fiance, and my family. And faith is not something that really plays into any of those, or at least it hasn't. You know, I can't really speak for my coworkers. I think they all come from various different forms of atheism. You know, people don't believe for different reasons. And I think, you know, my fiance is coming from a more agnostic, atheistic perspective of, she's had pretty negative experiences with other people's faith in the past. But, like, so that turns her away from the whole idea, but she has her own thoughts and opinions on things, so it kind of, that turns her toward it. You know, so she's in that, like, atheistic, agnostic realm. Whereas myself, I don't know. I feel like I waste my time every time I try to think about something that I can't touch or directly perceive. So stuff like, you know, the vastness of the universe, you know, cosmic reality. I mean, I might not be able to wrap my head around it, but I just accept that. You know, I don't attempt to wrap my head around it and bind everything together with the idea that it was all created by a single consciousness or something, because it's just not important to me. For me, it makes sense that, you know, chaos and disorder are kind of like the natural way of things. Or at least that's how it looks. But for me, it's easy to accept that things happen as a result of bodies of energy trying to conserve energy. You know, so they interact with other bodies of energy in the best way to preserve itself as possible. So that's why stuff like gravity exists. You know, solid matter is just condensed energy, in my opinion. Yeah, sorry, I have to pay attention here. Yeah, solid matter is just a complicated and condensed form of energy. And so it behaves like energy in that as long as it's in a like form of energy, it will magnetize itself to it. It's just when you go from subatomic to something that actually has more powerful forces of gravity acting upon it, magnetism, or whatever that force is called, changes, but it behaves similarly. So solid bodies of matter will be attracted to other solid bodies of matter. I think I lost track of what I was saying there, but I hope I'm making sense. Here we go. So, I don't know, for me, to try and conceive of a single consciousness that would have spawned all existence almost just seems like more work than to just accept that, it's just kind of chaotic interactions of bodies of energy. Like, for whatever reason, that just seems like an easier answer to me. And for me, I've always been of the mind of trying to be relaxed, I guess. Like, if I could say two things about myself for sure, it's that I'm lazy and a coward. And all of my other actions revolve around that, so I choose to believe that you just go with the easiest answer. And as much as it might sound like, well, that should leave you picking, like, the wrong answer more often than not, because a lot of things are more complicated than the simplest version of itself. But that's going under the, the belief that the quickest answer is the easiest, and I don't think that's true at all. For me, the easiest is the one that requires, the trailing back to the source, because the source is the one that requires the least amount of explanation. Now, the quickest answer I don't like, because it usually ends up cutting out connections. People don't like connected, complex issues, because they end up being a headache, and people don't like that it's often leading them into like a gray area, and it makes the world a much less fun place to live in, because they suddenly realize that, people suck, and the world is not a fantasy land like everyone wants it to be. But I only see that as dangerous. Perceiving the world in quick answers is very destructive to the world, because the world is not quick. The world is complicated. Ow, ow, ow. And same thing for, just being a person in this world. If you try and find quick solutions for yourself, your personal problems, you're only damaging yourself, because you're more complicated than those answers. That was always my problem with, like, get rich quick schemes, or, lose weight fast. I mean, stuff like making money and losing weight are complicated processes. The body and economics are complicated things, interworking systems. Man, not a single chunk from any of you guys. That's okay. How many do I even need? I think like 2 more, maybe? I'm not actually sure. Alright, well I got what I came for. Let's go back to Andre. And I think that'll just about wrap up this episode. I don't know how long this has been going on for. Go to Andre, I'll get this upgraded, and yeah, let me go back to human form. There we go. Yeah. So I guess that kind of goes back to the original topic of, you know, the soul or God, and I don't know. I mean, can I explain why certain things happen? No, but I've already accepted that the world is more complicated than I can understand. You know, the world and the universe are just bigger than my mind can wrap its head around, you know, wrap itself around. And I'm okay with that. I'm entirely okay with that sense of relative insignificance. Like, I can come to peace with that. And so I don't need anything to help me feel like, I don't know, everything that I do is so important to everything. For me, that just sounds exhausting. I wouldn't want everything that I do to be so important to everything. Because for me, that robs me of the freedom of privacy, you know? Man, stream of consciousness talking is weird. My throat's gonna hurt so much after today. Let's see, do I have any reason to go back down there? I think I do.
Well, I'll be.
Yeah. So, yeah, this thing's gonna get crazy powerful in this last stretch. So there's one. What else am I gonna need here? 1, 2. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna need 2 more. Alright.
Don't get yourself killed. Neither of us want to see you go hollow.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I guess I'll start with taking care of that next episode. I just need 2 more chunks, and I'll just head back down to New Londo, and then, yeah, I guess I'll go finish up Quelaag, and then we can make our way to the fortress. So, yeah, thank you for staying tuned for episode 5, and I'll see you in episode 6, in probably another 10 minutes for me, so see you then.